Ai đó đấy.
Match found.
Bye.
Rồi.
I am both shield and sword.
Lại ha.
Ai vô kia định vậy?
Lại đó ha.
Match found.
I am both shield and sword.
Cái vòng ngoài.
Another raise? Ha! I bet she's fun. I mean, still kill her.
Obviously. I still kill her though. Yeah.
Phải lại bên nãy. Alo, vào hết đi.
Ủa sao bên có giọt quỷ à?
Hai cá.
Get it. Old race, healing you. Light planted.
Em trốn nè nè.
Reloading.
Sao Su Bin nó xích lại Su Bin lại nó thắng nó lại đó.
One enemy remaining.
They were not kidding. Weapon here.
Toàn.
Những cái tường toàn
Do it
vãi.
again.
Toàn. Bây giờ
Yes.
hồi nãy mà em dựng tường á, em dựng tường vậy đúng không?
Ừ.
Em đứng trên này luôn, em bắn thằng người cầm. Hoặc là em dựng tường.
Em dựng xong em vô đặt bom mà. Em cầm bom em dựng lên em đứng rồi em quăng bom chai.
Quăng ra sau.
Rồi đằng sau không có ai hết. Đi hàng cam đậm súng nha anh ạ. Cây kìa.
Barrier placed. Light planted.
Đã.
Enemy spotted A.
Thu cả I mean you ho nhìn you ho.
Last player standing.
One dead.
One enemy remaining.
Có you ho mà.
That brainer won't touch a soul. I'll make sure of it.
Take control. Need a drop.
Không. Không đâu em nha.
Thua.
Cover going out.
Reloading.
Đầu vãi cứ sau lưng phát. Bị hai.
Spike down B.
Oh no. Cẩn thận elbow nha. Đục tường kìa.
Suppressing.
Cái ra
Flashbang loading.
Ấy, bật lên chết đi.
Throwing charge.
chạy đâu rồi? Nãy thấy lớp vậy đó mà.
Last player standing.
Chắc TP rồi.
Okay, Waits. Your paint shells, my fragments.
Núp tìm. Núp cam. Đi vô sai mà không thấy con kia cho đến đó bắn chị mày sơ bơ lơ. Tao về bot mà. Núp cam.
Forward.
Ê trên mẹ. Phát. Tự nhiên quăng xuống cái thằng cam. Vô bắn đi mày. Chết đi tao còn giúp. Bên đây bà Mai xuống ở đây nè. Quá đâu mất con đâu. Cam ơi. À mà đâu có mua giáp đâu em đâu có mua giáp đâu.
Bên này nè.
Đi nè cho nè, chị mày đặt đó mà có hồi sinh này, đi bắn đi. Ồ.
Tự bắn.
Tìm đi chơi hết rồi nè.
The hunt begins.
Ui. Chết rồi.
Tìm đâu rồi?
Chết rồi. Mà em cần.
You should
Barrier
run.
placed.
Đây.
TB.
Đi rồi. Đây chứ. Mà em chặn hết mẹ cái tường rồi.
Phạm này
Shadows
là
traveling.
Ray.
For you.
30 seconds left.
Móc.
Last
Có.
player standing.
Thiệt luôn. Buồn.
Chat đùa.
I know
Buồn.
what
Đừng
must
hai
be
giây.
done.
It's okay. Mày có rest rồi nè.
Bật cái mic lên mà kho.
Núp mập.
Chat. Thằng cha mới coi chừng thằng ông mình vô.
Thằng lên cam, mày có mất mà, bật lên mày. Thằng mất đó. Mày không bật lên tao có nghe được đâu, tao chết. Tao lôi tao bắn ai mà nhìn chết. Liền. Bật lên nếu không tao không đầu tư nữa đâu nha. Bắn thì chỉ có hồi sinh này, Reyna đừng ở lâu. Rồi với nó đi, đúng rồi. Bắn chết mẹ nó cho chị.
Ý. quá đi bắn xong hết đạn.
Ô anh có súng không vậy?
Bây giờ
Không, em hỏi về đi em coi vậy em nhắm coi hồi sinh được không á mà.
There.
Elbow có.
Wall raised. Your duty is not over.
Đi chứ nè.
Reload.
Đi. Em đi. Ok. Có thằng trong bathroom, có thằng trong bathroom. Mới thấy, nó kích ra.
Going B. Going B.
Con xây mấy dựng tường này.
Reloading.
Đây là vậy chưa cho bên
Going
kia.
B.
pha
30 seconds left.
Con lòn kêu roi nha.
Light planted.
Reloading.
Được rồi. Kẹt.
Enemy and defender spawn. Cover going out.
Bị cái gì đâu bị.
One enemy remaining. Reloading.
Giữ ơi hô cài cuối. Rất đúng.
Ta có không không? Em không có não đâu, anh đừng hỏi em nhìn đâu anh.
Can I get a drop?
Không, em biết. Ủa? Hai người chia nhau mua đồ. Em nói thiệt, từ cái lúc gì giờ tới giờ em đã em mất hết rồi.
Gun here.
Sheesh.
Enemy
Wait,
spotted
don't
A.
Shadows traveling.
Fire in the hole. Healing. Reload. Barrier clear.
Bắt rồi một nha.
Light planted.
Đây, má
Player
thì
standing.
nó nhảy lên đầu mi. Có plan coi chừng mất nha. Có plan chạy. Nó kèm.
Everyone's motor functions okay? I know humans get tired.
Đây, tao mua cho này thì phải đi, hay là mày muốn súng mà tao đâu có skin súng vandal đẹp đâu. Lúc cao tao mua cho này không à? Ok luôn, đi mua xe buýt. Tao chờ mày chết tao lượm súng nha.
Play for base.
Không bắn được, khó bắn lắm.
Bomb light out. Enemy spotted B. Reload. Barrier created. Light planted.
Các bạn.
Sau cái thùng. Thank you. Bathroom.
Cao tường.
Cao tường. Ôi phát má vừa thấy cái đầu.
You will not kill my allies.
Ba đứa cẩn thận. Thành ơi, sau lưng anh kìa Thành.
One enemy remaining. Last player standing.
Xây cũng chạy đùng đùng.
Shadows
Trước kia tưởng sao
Yeah.
toàn
Toàn thật. Thành request đi em rồi mua cho em khẩu sắc chờ. Thích bánh sắc chờ.
Can I get a drop? Thanks.
Spike's here.
He he. Cuộc đời đơn giản, không não. Đặt bom xong chờ hồi sinh.
snuff them out.
That's why là mày don't trust tất gật chứ nó.
No, it's not because of server.
Fucking stupid man.
Server chắc sẽ bị
Remove. Gun here.
Dạ, cảm ơn ạ.
Shadows traveling. Cover going out.
Con lòn. Ui, con lòn. Trời em xíu anh ơi, em dính cái đây rồi anh ơi.
vô em ơi.
Vô giùm cái. Vĩ ơi. Thì em đặt em rét anh mà.
Your duty is not over.
Imposter kill. One enemy remaining.
Last enemy taken out.
Mày là bi.
Do you want to dance? I'll reloading.
Ủa vậy có đau cái gì không mà sao ping cao vậy? Yeah. Hôm bữa mình mới chữa Spectrum nữa á, nó kêu là nó sửa mạng á. Liền. Xong cái mạng ok hơn hẳn rồi nè. Ủa điện từ kìa.
Reloading.
Ta trình copy nhé. Em kêu trình copy.
Stealing sight.
Để nói là nhìn copy rồi thằng liền cao mày nhìn cái cục thạch gì đấy.
Last player standing.
Tao lại. Liền, tao tưởng mày nhìn rồi mày nhìn cái gì đây?
They don't have a single life worth saving.
Núp cao, bữa sau éo tình nó được. Tình nó chạy te vô nhìn lại con rừng xin nó nói sao chết luôn. Mắt nhìn cao, núp cao. Thằng này chích như hả? Hello lại rồi kìa. Hello.
Đầu phát vướng cái tường.
Last player standing.
Này,
Spike
cái
down.
gì nhảy ở trong vậy? Phải quá.
I have the spike.
Ui, bạn chạy kìa.
No one beats my firepower. I got this.
Nhà mày cũng hay bị nhà mà coi YouTube nhiều quá là nó mạng yếu rồi. Bữa nay chắc mày dụ anh trai upgrade mạng lên.
Reloading. Enemy spotted. A.
Cái gì?
Last player standing.
Tin tôi. Đừng đậu khó quá ta.
Last round before the switch.
We're moving out. Pack heavy.
Đặt bom có red này. Mập ơi, you want gun?
I need this.
Yeah.
Can someone
Rồi,
get
chị em
this
sẽ lại
snack?
khẩu này nào. Bị network problem là sao ta? 20 ping mà. Lần đầu tiên vừa stream mà vừa vậy mà không bị lắc ấy. Mà nó cứ bị giật giật.
Từ em ơi.
You will not kill my allies.
Enemy suppressed. Target sight. Flashbang.
You should run. Light planted. Wall raised.
Evan,
Last player standing. One enemy remaining.
Út đi.
mày bắt. Nó tính chạy ra red mẫu quá.
Switching sides. Em qua đây chơi nha. Hay là mập qua. Qua đây chơi. Gì mà. Giờ hai em qua đây nhé. Cuộc đời không cho quỷ chơi game rồi.
Barrier here.
Ủa, xong rồi nữa lại ra.
Flash.
Không đi đâu.
Nhanh tôi. Stock của mình bao nhiêu giây nhỉ?
Spike planted. One enemy remaining.
Cứu em anh ơi.
Last
Ây
player
à.
standing.
Hết đạn, hết máu, hết đủ thứ luôn.
The spike is diffused.
Let them try to get through me.
Buồn. Buồn như căn chuồn chuồn. Oh no, we bị diss rồi mọi người ạ. À. Nó post hả? Ok. Thôi thì em cũng post.
Knife deployed.
Barrier created. One enemy remaining.
Sau bức tường. Có cây spectre trên Hookah ấy. Đâu, em vừa qua em thấy nó chứ góc gì anh.
Bragging rights if you get first pick.
Đâu có bắn ở đâu.
Em vừa thấy nó bắn chết mẹ em rồi sao bắn?
Nó bắn 2 phát.
5
viên nhưng mà bắn 2 phát chụp phải.
Xui thôi.
Cứ để cho nó bắn 2 phát cho em chết phát rồi.
Vẫn nghe tiếng ở đây một tiếng này cái chân. Hookah em chặn rồi nhưng mà coi chừng nó nhảy qua lên tường được ấy, tại nó hở ấy. Anh đứng ở đây em như máu ấy. Gì em bị copy. Ui, xong thấy.
Spike planted.
Để gây đầu không chết kìa. Fuck. 4 viên, 1 viên gây đầu không chết. Tàu luôn.
Last player standing.
My city needs me. I can't be away from you.
Đây là quỷ nó ra bên kia. Ui, con chuột của mình. Không ăn à? Muốn đổi sai không? Đi quá tốt. Actually Thành anh canh Hookah đi, em ra em lượm cái ốp đấy. Chẳng từng còn ốp.
Kill all your opponents.
Cái chơi gần bên.
Bên kia chặn rồi, cẩn thận xuống rồi.
Spike planted.
Bom em.
You fought well.
Về tới trên dưới.
Last player standing.
Ây à, nó nấp nép vô bên kia em không thấy. Hey. Chán nhờ. Nó nhích vô.
Chắc chắn tự nó chưa vô sai.
Let's get tired.
Đâu, nó vô rồi. Nhưng mà em không biết con Ray ngay đó thôi, em chịu, anh chạy trên hai bình rồi.
Đó. Nhưng mà nó vô không, ý nó anh tự nó phải xung quanh thôi. Anh đi bên đây đâu có ai báo đâu.
Em chịu dưới này em không nghe, em nghe tiếng TT đây, với em thấy con Ray nàng ở đây là em bó tay. Hết trời. Có rest nha. Không, mà em cũng không có chặn Hookah đâu. Đây. Có vẻ là anh nhìn dạ, rồi trên Hookah đông đó, Hookah đông. Cho em xin cái smoke qua đây.
Má này sao nó quay nhanh quá.
Đông quá. Vô sai rồi, cẩn thận.
Spike planted.
Bắn luôn kìa.
Last player standing.
Okay, I only have like 78 grenades left. Hopefully that's enough.
Sợ quả liều. Đi ra tốt nha.
bầu anh đi qua cái này rồi. Anh chạy qua kia trước đây.
Về.
Đừng chết please. Đây đây.
Vô được không? Vô chưa ba.
Chưa vô. Ôi.
Last
Ai
player
để
standing.
Mặt vâng đứng góc đấy chứ không phải là
Spike planted.
Cái gì vậy ta?
Vừa bắn vừa chạy chán không?
Match point.
Mấy con liền đấy nó dám đi mình đâu. Em đề nghị là mở mắt lên nói chuyện hai người nha. Khổ vãi lên. Em con rep em không rep được ai á. Buồn. Đi vô luôn vậy hả? Shit. Bom.
Đồ phơ.
Spike down A. One enemy remaining.
Vô hộp cũ.
No charges.
What's the name will reset?
Và
Our system restored. Flashback.
Trong thùng.
Last
Đây này
player
đây này.
standing.
Nó TP qua. Vừa nghe tiếng mà mày hết đạn chưa gài được.
nên nó trên sai.
Stock back up.
Anh nghe trên đây.
Sau thùng này mà.
Here.
Nó qua với em. Cái đó là cái gì quên rồi? Cái đó gọi là cái gì?
Còn cái thùng triple.
À triple
Box.
box. Em không nhớ nó gọi là cái lìn gì, em chỉ biết cái nó là sau thùng đằng sau lưng. Triple box nha, nhớ lại nha. Đâu? Con cà đâu?
Một người bé lẹ.
Ừ.
Một người thôi.
Nó đặt xuống ở ngoài nha. Chưa vô.
You should run.
Eliminate. You will not kill my allies. Fire in the hole.
Hai trên sai.
Last player standing.
Nó bắn một quả ta.
Attackers win.
Buồn. Con dở quá. Ừ. Có sao đâu. À. Ok. Mấy giờ rồi? Giờ này chắc mọi người lên được chơi đông xì ta chứ. Thôi là coi phim tiếp. Bật ơi, mở phim coi tiếp Bật ơi. Đầu đi ngủ ạ. Chán thế nhỉ. Hình như mình có để lại cao nhất hết cả đây. Không cần mình coi đâu. Vui thế. Ok, mình dùng tốc đèn. Là vào phần Chiro. Quay xe kìa. Cái gì vậy? Quay quá, nóng. Nhỏ to bao nhiêu to gì quá nhỉ? Ồ. Cái này là cái gì vậy? Còn cái này lại không được. Còn cái này không được.
でもともかくこんなところでうまるさんに会えるなんて。
Không không share được à? Và bạn cất thôi. Rồi, kiếm được tóc bạn. Skill. Hình như mình chưa có cái này.
Powers. We know we're... I really don't think the Constance moon is but a celestial object like ours. I think it's a celestial being. Or so, in theory. So throughout this video, I will touch on why I draw that potential conclusion, but many questions have led me to it. Like, why were we, cursed and lonely, yet interconnected creatures of an unknown realm, given the knowledge to manipulate Moonstone for various constructions and otherworldly uses? Why grant us the privilege to not only find the celestial orb after many years of survival without it, but then also to access its powers? We know where said knowledge led. It led to the formation of the celestial portal here. But how did a band of lost souls come to make such a change to such an object when but Charlie is the only known being capable of such power? Perhaps it's all practical and I'm just reading much too far into just a tiny slice of Clay's game here. Or perhaps this has all been intentional. Maybe our next journey coming this month isn't just to new lands, but rather new worlds. And to flesh this idea out, we must look to discover more about the moon's true purpose within the constant. And I think our best bet is to take a deep look into the moonstone itself, the whats and the whys. But first, let's discuss the wheres. Folk have claimed to have found the set piece elsewhere, but I have never not found it outside the thick evergreen forest biome, so I will always recommend you go looking there first. But you'll know it when you see it. The moonstone is surrounded by moon rubble in the crumbled form of rabbits, petrified birds of the world, and even spiders. Just one of the many of Constance's minions. Our characters have some intriguing takes on these little guys too, like how WX points to the moon's power to make things worse, but since he loves the moon, he loves the changes that he sees. But others like Winona will say, that's a little strange, and Wigford says it has faced Manny's wrath. And even Maxwell, the once king of the constant, will even go about saying this might not be so good. And do you know who Manny is? She's the goddess of the moon, for Pete's sake. But it's not just the little guys either. The moonstone is also surrounded by suspicious moon rock in the form of werepigs and hounds in various stages of life, death, and destruction. But why? Well, whatever the case, if you happen to be in need of some moon rock, then you can mine these sculptures around for one or two of the suckers. But the same cannot be said about the moon rubble scattered about. You will not find any moon rocks there. But what do our survivors have to say about the stone itself? Well, first, you'll need to repair it, and the amount you'll need will depend on how broken the base is. But speaking of bases, WX just cannot get enough of them. He is completely enraptured by the idea of the moon and this stone, but others are not quite ready to feel welcomed in its presence. While Maxwell will question how the moonstone even exists, seeing as he believed them to all be gone, Wendy will let us know that she feels a terrible chill within her when nearby this thing. Something about this and the moon just doesn't feel right. But what can we do with it? Well, the moonstone accepts any form of staff with a gem to be placed within its altar, although nothing seems to happen when you do. But are we missing one here? Yes we are. So, let's head on down under once again, make our way to the ancient pseudoscience station, and craft ourselves the intrepid Star Caller staff. But even then, placing the staff on the altar still doesn't do anything, even at night. Therefore, I present yet another thought-provoking question. What is the one night that sees so much happening during it, that sees so much change? What night sees man and beast transform? What night is the only night that our survivors are truly safe from the evil that lurks within the darkness? A full moon night. If you place the Star Caller staff in the altar during this night, something amazing will happen. A beam of lunar light will shoot down from above, seemingly fixated more on the gem than anything. But with this comes trouble. And you'll know it when the sweet and unique battle music kicks in. And if you've never heard it, you gotta go hear it. And there's a reason this is called the Moonstone event, because you'll see why as hounds and werepigs start rushing in to destroy the altar and stop whatever seems to be taking place. You can certainly try your best to stop them, but their numbers will be far too great if you're playing solo. And they will eventually manage to break the moonstone. But this, however, does come with side effects for our hostile friends here, because when the moonstone breaks, any remaining monsters and mobs nearby will be turned into suspicious moonrock sculptures or moon rubble, forever frozen in time. Not to worry though, you do not lose your Star Caller staff, nor is the moon rock forever broken. You'll just need to repair it again with more moon rock in order to try again. That, and you will need to wait for another full moon phase. Not to worry, solo players, we just need to break out the cheese. We can block the incoming attackers by using end tables like seen here. Although I do believe this to be a colossal waste of resources. It's why I recommend using fossil fragments instead. They are easy to obtain, not to drain on resources at all, and super easy to manipulate when you are finished with the event. Plus, they are just as effective. But walls can be used too. But if you do use this method, you better sheer up your defenses, cause you'll need to. And you'll need to fight as well, as they will desperately try to bring down whatever is in front of them to reach that moonstone. The fact of the matter is, this event lasts for about a minute, so you need to last for a minute, you plebs. Do so, and you will be rewarded. The event will end, and the werepigs and hounds around will be transformed into suspicious moonrock, and a power beyond your comprehension will have transformed your Starcaller staff into something beautiful, but really, really freaking cold. So if you stick around with it in the altar too long, you yourself may become frozen in time, so get the heck out of there. But say hello to the Mooncaller staff, everybody, and it comes with its very own otherworldly use. Similar to the Starcaller's ability to summon a dwarf star, the Mooncaller staff can call forth a polar light that can be used to cool players down rather effectively. The two share the same sanity drain to summon them, but also that same positive sanity aura when you are near them. But the polar light will extinguish far faster than the dwarf star. However, the Mooncaller staff boasts 50 uses compared to the Starcaller's measly 20. And to call the polar light effective is an understatement. This little guy cools you down in seconds and can even have you freezing in summer. It's pretty ridiculous. And even still, you can place the staff within the altar again to create a permanent polar light, which isn't a half bad spot to have during summer itself. But let's return to the weird stuff for a moment, yes? Deconstruct a Mooncaller staff to attain the intrepid and celestial power within it, the Iridescent Gem. As it stands now, the Iridescent Gem is the only gem obtainable through deconstruction, but it is also the only one without a purpose. Apart from rock lobsters being able to eat one, the gem has no known uses currently, but I question why. Yet another celestial gift leading to more questions, right? But before we go, I want to touch on two more things that you can do via this event. The first being that you can forcibly transform and revert the hounds and werepigs that attack during this event, and you can do so back and forth however many times you wish. And doing so can cause them to die at seemingly random times, but it also resets the timer on the event. So, if you're gonna do this, you should either wait for a much longer full moon night, or build your own pig and hound farms nearby to maximize the potential for the loot. Or just use Winona's catapults during the event to slaughter anything that shows its face to really walk away with loot while still completing the event. And, if you didn't know, you can transform more than one staff a night, depending on the night's length, of course. So, you could be really walking away with quite the prize if you want to farm this event. But there you have it, everyone. A kind of mix between a guide video and a lore discussion one that I think could really provide some insight into what comes next. You gotta admit it, there is still a lot we don't know about all this, and the many signs we do have point to a purpose far beyond survival. Perhaps we are not alone. Take care, folks. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Google Fi, a phone plan by Google. With our privacy and security features, you can block robocalls and spam calls, plus stop calls and texts from specific numbers. Features are easy to use and included with all 5 phone plans. Learn more today.
Lead an animated life. Get your degree online from the Los Angeles Film School. Learn the latest tools and techniques needed to work on everything from animated films and television series to video games and motion graphics. You'll receive training in model creation, character animation, and other skills necessary for a solid foundation in digital art creation. Click on the link below or visit lafilm.edu.
Shane Dawson, did he or did he not jizz on his cat? That seems to be the question of the day. And, Your Honor, I'm not here to accuse nor defend the suspect. I'm merely here to analyze the case and to bring to your attention and to that of the jury the facts and the speculations covered in a thick layer of common sense which appears to have gone missing, Your Honor. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there was an old clip from Shane's podcast from years ago where he vividly described a sexual act with his cat that allegedly took place in 2007.
I was like, if I just like hump, but like on her tummy, like that's not weird, like whatever. And then I humped it, and it kept going, and I came all over the cat.
No, you did not.
It was like my first sexual experience.
No
I was also
way.
like 19, so it's like, no,
Wait a second. Did you just say you came on a cat?
As soon as this clip was reposted on Twitter, the public, as they often love to do, hastily grabbed their torches and pitchforks and jumped out to take Shane down. Shane posted a thread on Twitter saying that the story was nothing more than a joke, and that he's tired of apologizing and explaining his edgy and outrageous humor from his past, which he has since moved away from. He adds, and I quote, "I'm sorry for being someone who thought being super offensive and shocking all the time was funny. I feel like without my past I wouldn't be who I am today, and I wouldn't be able to grow and spend my energy on things that actually mean something." Now, I don't know if he did or didn't jizz on his cat when he was a teenager. Was it a joke? Maybe, but the takeaway that I get from this entire situation is how quickly people's attitude changes in regards to someone with a profile as large as Shane's. Just weeks ago, he was hailed as this innovator who is breathing new life into this platform. He was being applauded for his docuseries, for what he did with the Chuck E. Cheese conspiracy, for shedding light on a heavy subject like domestic abuse in the case of Brittany Louise Taylor. He was widely regarded as a visionary, but as soon as the target was on his back, he suddenly became the butt of everyone's jokes. And Chuck E. Cheese himself was somewhere out there probably like, look, animal abuse is wrong, obviously, and I do hope that Shane was joking, but the speed with which the mob mentality takes over in a case like this is terrifying. Why do we have this urge to cancel someone as soon as something controversial comes out about them? In a case like Harvey Weinstein or Bill Cosby, absolutely, these are undoubtedly monsters who need to have the power stripped away from them because they're using it in destructive ways. But this thing of going back and looking through old tweets and old podcasts from years ago with the sole purpose of finding something incriminating is ridiculous. These days, everything is documented on the internet. At some point, you will inevitably say something stupid. And then, a decade later, when you've evolved and matured, and even the sensibilities of the world around you have changed, to then have something dug up from a different era that's gonna affect your current career is mind-boggling, especially when you have proven yourself to be a changed person. Despite the mob mentality making people pile on, and despite a select few who are maliciously trying to hurt his career, there is overwhelming evidence that Shane is a good guy. People who come in contact with him describe him as a kind-hearted human being. Garrett Watts is one of the people who immediately jumped to his defense, saying, "Shane is one of the most thoughtful, kind-hearted, empathetic guys I know, and the notion of him abusing or hurting another living creature is as implausible as your arms turning into laser-blasting diamond cannons." And, I'm a little triggered by that last line there, Garrett. He goes on to close his statement by saying, please be forgiving, realize that people change, and use your power to cancel and nullify those in this world who are doing truly evil things. We love to be outraged, especially on Twitter. We wake up in the morning, we have a sip of tea, we go to the trending tab to check who's in the shame spotlight today, only to insert their name in the preset hashtag blank is over party, regardless of the severity or the validity of the reason behind it. In the most recent episode of Last Week Tonight, John Oliver tackled this exact topic, public shaming, and towards the end of the episode, he says this.
Think of the dumbest thing you did when you were young, not the dumbest thing you got caught doing, the dumbest thing you did. The thing you stole, or cheated on, or accidentally sexted. And again, I am sorry, Mom. Now imagine hearing about that every single day for decades on end.
That's right, you and I have said and done some stupid things in the past. I guarantee you that every single living person on this earth has made a joke or has said something or done something that could jeopardize their career. But most people learn from their mistakes. Most people evolve. And in a world where our lives and our thoughts become more and more public, we need to be more tolerant and more thoughtful about where we direct our anger and who we decide to take down. Because if the bar for outrage is this low, no living human being is safe. I think this is a very interesting topic, and I'm curious what you think about cancel culture as a whole. Let me know down in the comments. And while we're talking about Shane, I want to send a huge congratulations to him and Ryland, who just got engaged. This is going to be the royal wedding of YouTube. So once again, congratulations to these two boys. And speaking of boys, which by the way is a phrase that I've never said before, the Clout Boys contest. In my last video, I announced a little giveaway where I would pick 3 random people who followed me on Instagram, and I would initiate them into the exclusive Clout Boys Club. And the winners are
Aiden Geyer, Priscilla, and Nikolai Wormer, who is apparently a dog.
Congratulations, all 3 of you are now Clout Boys. And if you want to participate in my Instagram giveaways, just follow me on Instagram. It's that simple. But that's going to be it for this video. Wilfer and I will see you again very soon.
It's a cinematic experience. There are hundreds of spirits in this place. Most of them not very nice. Holy! That was dark. I went dark. I apologize.
American Horror Story.
The last couple of years have certainly been busy for drama and tea-spilling enthusiasts in the beauty community and beyond. With scandals like Kat Von D versus Jeffree Star in 2016, Laura Lee's Teargate in 2018, in 2019 we got a 2-for-1 combo with the James Charles roller coaster and Jaclyn Hill's mold on a stick. And the year is not even over. I feel like we should be paying someone because the beauty community provides better entertainment than literally everything that's on Netflix right now. You could argue that it's all meaningless. At the end of the day, it's just lipstick, but is it really? What magical power does this red cream in a tube hold beyond our knowledge? Why is it so magnetic to the masses, keeping them hypnotized into consuming an ever-growing supply? Empires built on the illusion that you too can look just like the gods and the goddesses on billboards and screens all around you, projecting a highly edited standard. Wilfer, I think it's up to us to uncover the mystery. But first I want to say a quick thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. It's always super helpful to have outside sponsors, especially with the risk of getting demonetized after hundreds of hours of work on an animated video like this. So I'm glad to be working with them again, but we'll talk about it more at the end of the video. For now, let's get back to our story. To do that, we have to go back in time. And I don't mean just by a few years. I mean way back. To ancient times. There's tons of documented instances of some kind of cosmetics being used in the form of rituals all over the world. In Persia, China, Japan, the European continent, Australia, and the Americas. Some ancient ingredients used as makeup included beeswax, egg white, ground nuts, honey, minerals mixed with animal fat, and a lot of poisonous substances such as lead or mercury. The Greeks, for example, used perfumed oils to smell nice, and they had fancy hairstyles. I mean, just look at Hercules. Don't you dare tell me that he just woke up like that. But they also commonly applied a white lead-based substance on their face. What they probably didn't know was that it was totally toxic, and the repeated exposure would cut their lives short by a few years. So, was it worth it? Hashtag do it for the gram, I guess. Roman women as well used a colored powder as eyeshadow. In Persia, cosmetics were regarded as medicine, whereas in China and Mongolia, specific colors indicated social class. Egyptians used cosmetic products mostly for slowing down signs of aging, as well as for health reasons. And of course, Egypt gives us two of the most iconic beauty figures in history. Nefertiti, famous for her sickening eyeliner, as well as Cleopatra some 1300 years later, equally known for her beauty. Even though most of what we imagine her to look today is Hollywood nonsense. In reality, she was described as having a stronger personality and charming wit rather than physical beauty, which is a very diplomatic way of calling somebody ugly. Regardless, it's clear that makeup has had a strong presence throughout history, dating far back to the earliest documents we have. The main difference was they weren't exactly using top-notch FDA-approved formulas. Okay, so some of you have been sending me pigeons to complain about my eyeliner, saying you're getting sick after using it. Some of you have gone blind. And I just want to say, the eyeliner only contains lead, okay? It's not my fault you're not using it properly. Come to think about it, not much has changed. Later on, in the Middle Ages, religion contributed heavily to the negative view on makeup, though it was still being used in some form or another. In fact, both women and men would apply dangerous substances to their face to achieve a lighter complexion. Some people took it even further, like Marie Antoinette, for example, who would draw blue lines on her face to signify that she had blue blood. By the end of the 19th century, in America, women were purchasing beauty products in secret. Makeup was seen as bold and immoral at this point, so manufacturers had to play into the demand for discretion by packaging it with plain brown paper. Fun fact, Wilfer also receives a lot of brown paper packages, and I'm not sure what they contain. What do you think is hiding in these?
I've actually been using Curology on my own dime. I used it for like 6 months. There was a time in my life where I was so desperate to...
One of the greatest American success stories of the early 20th century is that of Madam C.J. Walker. It's an amazing story that I recommend you look into. In the early 1900s, seeing how the black community was largely ignored by beauty manufacturers, she started going door to door selling her own hair care products made specifically for African American women. Before long, she was able to open a factory, creating jobs for many other women, and in just a few years, she had hundreds of agents going door to door selling her product. At the time of her passing in 1919, she was considered the wealthiest self-made woman in America. In other words, she was the Kylie Jenner of her time. With the 1920s and 30s, along with women entering the job market, but especially with the dawn of Hollywood glamour, we see a big shift in attitude towards cosmetics. Makeup is now a sort of symbol of freedom and independence from the ways of the past. Magazines have a double role at this point. For one, to advertise makeup products to women who become increasingly drawn to them, and secondly, to teach them how to use them. The how-to method played a big role in the growth of the industry. It was at this point that Max Factor, a movie makeup artist of Polish descent, completely changes the game by leveraging his connections in Hollywood to get celebrities to endorse his products to the masses, using the slogan, "The makeup for the stars and you." A revolutionary idea in a world where competition is now fierce. And if you think about it, that's also what's happening today on Instagram, with big brands reaching out to celebrities and influencers to promote their products to their millions of followers. But at the time, this was unheard of, and it's one of the main reasons why Max Factor was able to build a giant business that would continue to thrive long after the founder passed away. In the coming decades, tendencies kept shifting. New trends were replacing old ones, but one thing remained unchanged: the fact that the beauty industry was booming. According to this book that I'm gonna put on screen right now, by 1948, 80 to 90% of adult American women were wearing lipstick. The industry was only getting started, and as advertising became a crucial part of it, drama once again found her sweet home. For instance, when Clinique was launched, they elevated the game with their skincare line, achieving great commercial success and attracting a lot of envy from the competition. Revlon, an equally successful brand at that time, known for aggressive business tactics, attempted to steal and follow Clinique's recipe and launch a similar product called Etheria. But Clinique was like, Oh no you don't. And after finding out the name of Revlon's upcoming release, they used it in their own promotional materials ahead of the official launch, thus sabotaging Revlon and resulting in Etheria being a giant flop. We can see controversy has always been tied to cosmetics, so it's easy to see why in today's age, the beauty community on YouTube is the perfect environment for drama to erupt. Maybe it was less so in the beginning, when beauty gurus were uploading their first videos, like Michelle Phan, Marlene Estelle, Zoella, Jackie Aina, Jacqueline Hill, Gigi Gorgeous, just to name a few. Just like in the 1920s, magazines published how-to articles, the YouTube beauty gurus also got their start doing how-to videos and makeup tutorials. They provided free education and entertainment to makeup enthusiasts, and established a strong connection with the fans. But as this connection became monetizable, and large brands started investing in beauty channels, it became less about teaching and more about selling. It became a norm for every beauty guru to have a line of makeup, whether in partnership with the big brands or developing their own company. In recent years, we see names like James Charles and Jeffree Star become so big that they're now competing with traditional makeup brands. With the age of social media, the influence shifted, well, to the influencers. And nobody navigated this cultural shift better than Kylie Jenner. By using the spotlight she had by association to her infamous family, she became a sort of celebrity influencer hybrid, setting a new standard for anybody working on a cosmetics brand. Sure, she may not have as authentic a self-made story as Madam CJ Walker, but her achievements are no less impressive. What's interesting to note is that in the same way Madam Walker was going door to door to sell products individually, Kylie has just as direct a connection to her customers without even leaving her home. With one single Instagram swipe-up story, she's likely to sell tens of thousands of products. You have to admit, the internet is amazing. In recent years, more celebrities started to see the profitability of the influencer beauty industry, and the most notable is Rihanna, who in 2017 took the world by storm, launching her brand Fenty Beauty. By bringing a wide range of shades for a variety of skin tones, the brand was named one of the best inventions of 2017. And in less than 2 years since the launch, Fenty Beauty is now worth over $3 billion according to Forbes. Makeup has become so profitable in today's age that more and more celebrities are drawn to it. Most of Rihanna's estimated $600 million net worth comes not from her music, but from her beauty brand. Recently, Lady Gaga has also joined the game by launching House Laboratories, and it's very likely that by next year she will be one of the top players in the industry as well. So here we are at this point where the beauty scene continues to grow and makeup brands are popping up like mushrooms. Some great, some not so great, and some just straight up cash grabs. In 2017, the cosmetics industry was worth $532 billion globally, and that number is expected to rise up to $805 billion by 2023. With so much money in the industry, you can't help but ask yourself, what's next? Which brands leading the market today are going to fade away, and which currently inexistent ones will change the game tomorrow? One thing is certain, it's more than just lipstick, and it's not going away anytime soon. So are you gonna tell me what's inside of these? Wait, what? Since when do you have your own makeup palette? Wilfer, how did I not know about this? What is this? Oh, it's an online course. Strategies for e-commerce success. That's right, you too can build an empire just like Wilfer has. And this is the perfect moment to thank Skillshare, the sponsor of today's video. Skillshare is a fantastic platform with thousands of premium online courses where you can learn new hobbies and even turn your passion into a successful career. Right now, I'm really into this course by Parker Gard called Strategies for E-commerce Success, where he takes you step by step through the process of building an Etsy store and earning some cash from selling handmade products you're passionate about. If you're good at crafting, it's definitely worth giving it a try. And even if you're not, there's lots of great information in here about e-commerce and how you can start your own online business. I find a lot of it helpful even if you don't have an Etsy store. By signing up to Skillshare using my custom link down in the description, you will get a 2-month free trial that you can use to watch as many courses as you want. I'm really happy to be working with Skillshare again because they really bring a lot of value to you guys. And I've been getting a lot of great feedback from some of you who have already started using the platform. Definitely recommend checking it out if you haven't already. Thanks again to Skillshare for sponsoring this video, and thanks to you for watching and for supporting what I do here. Wilfer and I are gonna see you again very soon.
Chen qua đè đâu hết trơn vậy, trời ơi buồn quá. The fuck is going on? Shit. Low vaccination rate and Delta variant fuel COVID-19 shares in US. Trời ơi, cho chích ngừa Covid nè. Mẹ em muốn chết lắm. Mặc dù bác sĩ kêu nên đi chích. Chích xong thấy ai cũng bị vật tè tôi. Mẹ em muốn chích. Giờ mà không may on là tí nữa là tôi không mở server don't start đâu nhé. Để tôi buồn ngủ quá. Hình như từ kỹ kìa ta. Để nhắn tin cho ai on không. Tao hết dài. Online chơi game nào? Trên Discord thì sao? Everyone chơi game liều. Don't start. Hello. Cái gì đây? Chán quá để. Má tôi bây giờ còn cho ăn mắm kìa mà tôi không được ăn. Oculus chỉ chim được không nhỉ? Cũng lớn rồi mà chơi ngu mà. Ngoài tủ lạnh có gì ăn vậy? Hình như lúc mình ngủ dậy mình chưa ăn gì thì phải. Sáng mình ăn gì chứ nhỉ? Hình như cũng chưa luôn. Ôi vãi cất tôi thế. Hình như cả ngày nay tôi chưa ăn gì mà mấy cái trứng cút à. Mình có ăn gì chứ ta? Hình như là chưa luôn ấy. Thôi ra kiếm gì ăn. Dậy rồi đó hả bà Đen? Bà đây. Biết sửa chén nhà được không bà Đen? Khỏi ra. Đồ ăn vặt, được chơi, giấy đủ kiểu. Ở đây đúng lại là hơi mà. Hôm nay bạn đi đâu ấy nhờ? Buồn á à. Hay là về đuối quá ngủ mẹ rồi. Hôm qua nhây quá mà chơi tới 9 giờ sáng. Hè vô què ai vú. Oh yeah, see, he did it. A freaking video about Shane Dawson.
I've been blocked by over 5,000 people on Twitter. Now, this doesn't totally surprise me, because if I had to see me every day and not be me, I would probably block me too. But I do have to say, I'm kind of shocked, kind of proud, that one of those 5,000 people happens to be none other than Jeffree Star.
Jeffree Star. Where do we begin with this guy, man?
We have a lot of emotional tea to dive into.
My fans are totally hating on someone like Jeffree Star.
Jeffree Star autobiography, it needs to come soon.
Oh, and if my body's found dead in a ditch somewhere, it's Jeffree Star.
Hi and welcome back to me talking about whatever I want. Today I want to talk about Jeffree Star. If you've been on Twitter, YouTube, or the mainstream media, you may have noticed that there's kind of a lot going on with the three least necessary YouTubers of all time: Shane Dawson, Tati Westbrook, and Jeffree Star. Three people I never want to hear about ever again. So I have decided to make one video about each one of them, and this video is about Jeffree Star. Now, a lot of Jeffree Star supporters get angry when you bring up his dark past full of racism, bad wigs, and literal clown makeup. They claim that he's changed and he's grown as a person, but I mean, his makeup still looks like a Snapchat filter in bad lighting, and you can literally see the tracks in his wig, so what exactly changed? The racism? Not likely. But I actually think his stands are onto something. We get so distracted by Jeffree Star's past that we fail to look at the absolute buffoonery that he's pulling in the present. So in this video, we're going to do exactly that. After a lot of research, a ton of editing, and one too many Jeffree Star videos. That's a joke. Even one is too many. Allow me to present not an exploration of Jeffree Star's past actions, but a comprehensive timeline of Jeffree Star in the present, in which we're going to see that this man managed to fake everything about basically everything. But first, let's talk about me. I'm proud to announce that my 2-month break is over. I mentioned this in my last video, which was about Lana Del Rey. I'm actually not back. I'm, after this video, probably going to take another 1-month break, and now I am back, and not just with a pretty smile. I have content. I started a new weekly podcast called The Office Husband Podcast, and the first episode is already up. There's no new episode this week because it's the 4th of July, but go watch that if you want. That's linked down in the description. I also have an entire video planned for my bonus channel. That's going to be the one about Shane Dawson. So I'll also link that in the description. That's coming soon, so look out for that. And lastly, I'd like to announce my upload schedule for my YouTube videos here on my main channel. Yes, I'm admitting that this is the main channel now. I will be uploading new YouTube videos whenever I finish them. That's what I realized on my break. That was my grand epiphany. I don't have to upload YouTube videos at a specific time. I just have to upload good YouTube videos every time. So I promise I'll do my best to pull that off, as long as you promise to keep watching. And I really appreciate everyone's support, just almost as much as I appreciate today's sponsor, ExpressVPN. With a VPN like ExpressVPN, you'll never have to worry about getting your data stolen through public Wi-Fi networks ever again. Then again, literally nobody has to worry about that right now. We're all trapped inside our homes right now, and I haven't connected to anyone else's Wi-Fi in what feels like 5 years. But even with no public networks to worry about, I still get plenty of usage from ExpressVPN's other features, like changing your location with one click. With all this extra free time I had, I clearly wasn't making YouTube videos, so I have been watching a ton of stuff on Netflix. Canadian Netflix. These people have the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy and Naruto Shippuden. Clearly the superior Netflix. ExpressVPN isn't just good for finding new content, it also helps you unblock content. This video is not available in your country. Try again. I'm Canadian now. Of course, the best part of all this is that you can get 3 months of ExpressVPN for free by going to the link down in the description. It's expressvpn.com/D'Angelo. So go download TechRadar, CNET's, The Verge's top-rated VPN from the link down below. expressvpn.com/D'Angelo, and thank you ExpressVPN for sponsoring this video. Now let me tell you the story of Jeffree Star. Basically, he used to be popular on MySpace about 10 years ago for being a legitimately awful person. I'm not even exaggerating, by the way. His entire persona was that he was not good.
You look like you have autism.
He was only popular because he was stereotyping himself in the most demeaning way possible. If there's one thing bigots love more than degrading you, it's when you degrade yourself for their amusement. So he turned that fame into a brief music career, but I'm gonna be honest here. I feel like me even acknowledging that Jeffree Star songs exist is disrespectful to actual musicians. Yeah. No. So anyway, once his music career inevitably died, he launched a makeup company called Jeffree Star Cosmetics. And once MySpace died, he joined the perfect place for anybody with little to no talent and even fewer people skills. YouTube.com. My home sweet home. And so that past history that I just gave a brief synopsis of is what brings us to the beginning of our timeline that we're going to go through in this video. 2017. It's now 2017 and Jeffree Star Cosmetics is worth millions of dollars. He has millions of subscribers, and he decided to start his redemption arc to become a less awful person in the future by apologizing for how he was in the past. Except he didn't. He literally didn't apologize for being racist. See, these are just a few of the clips that people wanted an answer for.
I win by having diamond rims, and you win by being a poor Mexican.
Shut up, you fucking neck bitch. You stupid ape, I'm gonna spray you. Please beat that neck. He's a fucking neck. You're a neck, ugly ass bitch.
Trust me when I say, as bad as those are, there are far worse ones, and plenty of them. So Jeffree uploaded this video on June 20th, 2017, titled simply Racism. It's 15 minutes long, it has no ads and no comments. I'm just gonna be honest, disabling comments on an apology video is weak. The fact that someone is unwilling to hear any input on their apology, even from the people that they're supposedly apologizing to, sounds hella remorseful to me. But I will say, he does say the words, "I'm sorry." It's just, he doesn't say "I'm sorry for being racist." He says, "I'm sorry for the words I said." Now, in most cases, I would just chalk that up to bad wording. See, listen.
So I want to let you guys know that I am so sorry for ever saying those things. That does not represent anything how I feel. That is not who I am. And I apologize deep down to the core of my being. I'm so sorry for my words. I am so sorry for everything that I've said in my past. I can never turn back time and take those moments away.
But the issue is, it's not bad wording. Jeffree Star just literally isn't even admitting to being racist. His own apology titled Racism.
I think that racism is a very serious subject, especially in today's world. I'm embarrassed as a person because that is not what I've ever stood for. The intent behind my words back then, it was not about race. Racism does not live inside of me. I don't even know what the fuck. Like, I don't know how that exists into people.
Talking about dropping the hard R and claiming that it's not about race, I have to give him points for originality. Jeffree Star was really setting the blueprint for this kind of thing in 2017. And seeing as this is his only available apology, I for one am kind of tired of his stance saying he apologized when A, he clearly didn't. You can watch the entire video for yourself. And B, all he really did was contribute to the normalization of racial slurs by claiming that they're not, in fact, related to race. And now that's what all his followers will tell you when you call them out. So imagine how tired we are of it. I don't know who needs to hear this, but being in a dark place and then lashing out from that dark place by being racist means that you're racist. When I'm in a dark place, I just watch Netflix, listen to sad music, go to sleep, do all three at the same time. And and this is not just me. Somehow I feel like most people manage to avoid recording themselves shouting racial epithets at people and then uploading that to the internet. And the fact that we let people like Jeffree Star normalize that behavior by behavior like this in his 2017 video, tragic. But there is one thing that Jeffrey's sorry to see. He actually spends more time in his apology video addressing how unhappy it makes him that people bring up his past at all than he does addressing actual racism.
A lot of stuff from my past constantly gets dragged up. It's been happening for years. My past has been recorded, it's been videoed, it has been exploited all over the internet. I see them resurface, and it just makes me sick to my stomach. It really makes me sick to my stomach to watch those old videos. And every time that they get re-dragged up, it just makes me just sad because I don't know who that person was. I am so sorry that any of you ever had to see me like that. It makes me want to just, I don't know, it makes me want to erase myself sometimes. I don't want you to see an old video of me and be like, wow, Jeffrey says this, but he's really about this.
That's why his stands get so defensive when you mention his past, because Jeffrey makes it seem like he's the one most affected by it. You know, not the people who have had to go their entire life having this kind of stuff spewed at them. Victimizing yourself in your apology video. A YouTube classic. I'm serious, Jeffree Star was a professional. He also mentions repeatedly that these clips are from 12 years ago. He would really like you to know that these clips are from 12 years ago.
It concerns old videos that were filmed of me 12 years ago. And those videos were 12 years ago. Let's go back to 12 years ago.
And you know what? A lot of these clips are actually from 12 years ago. But the issue with that is, it's 2020. They're from 12 years ago today. He made this apology video in 2017. So normally I wouldn't come after someone for not remembering a date because I'm gonna be fully honest, I barely remember my own birthday most of the time. But you can literally see that the most popular clips he was referring to have a 2008 copyright date on them, meaning they were less than a decade old when he was apologizing for them. He can't admit that the problem took place. He can't admit when the problem took place. The only thing that Jeffree Star promises to change in his I Changed video is to stop clapping back at people online.
I don't want to deal with anger and rage and drama anymore. I just feel like it's just so unhealthy and it eats away at you. It's just wrong. And I don't want to continue that behavior. I should be setting an example. Fighting with people online and all of this bullshit is so unhealthy, and it's something that I'm going to completely stop. I'm not going to feed into it anymore. I am not going to feed the fire of hate with hate. I just think it has to stop.
Let's see how well that worked out for him. Anyway, that was 2017. It was the beginning of a beautiful change for Jeffree Star, in which he changed absolutely nothing about himself, but nobody could point it out because the comments were disabled.
I think that 2018 was one of the most insane years of the beauty community. I think we learned a big lesson last year. Don't come for Jeffree Star, because you'll end your career.
So, 2018 was the year that Jeffree Star stepped into the larger public consciousness as a new and improved Jeff. Gone were the days of, nothing really, again, like I said, he didn't change, he just told us all that he changed. In retrospect, he didn't change for the better, he claimed to be better and everyone believed him for some reason, and that reason was named Shane Dawson.
I think one of the most life-changing things that happened to me this year was my series with Shane Dawson.
This, of course, was the beginning of the worst timeline. The worst man on YouTube decides to start a collaboration documentary series with the other worst man on YouTube. All you need to know for context is that I have mixed feelings about Shane Dawson for a number of reasons, none of which we will be discussing in this video. So Shane Dawson made a 5-part documentary series called The Secret World of Jeffree Star. But the issue with this Shane Dawson series is the same issue with everything involving Shane Dawson, and that issue is Shane Dawson. The man is simply not good at making docuseries. His documentaries document nothing. They're just extended vlogs with an indie film soundtrack and an unholy runtime, and they're designed to make the subject look as good as humanly possible. No objectivity, no educational value, no tripod. These just aren't documentaries. They're really, really long PR videos. See, the 2018 Jeffree Star series wasn't just for fun. It was a calculated move to shift Jeffree Star into that same wholesome, positive space that Shane Dawson had scammed his way into years earlier. See, before this series, Jeffrey was a PR nightmare. His terrible history with literally everything wasn't very good for other people's brands. And when celebrities decided to take a risk and work with him anyway, this is what happened to them, even the biggest ones.
Guys, like, and I see you being so petty, bringing up things in his past where he, you know, was, you know, negative, but he's also apologized for those things. And I get it's a serious deal if you say, like, racial things, but I do believe in people changing, and people that apologize, I will give them the benefit of the doubt.
2 hours later.
Hey guys, so I really wanted to apologize to you guys and my fans for defending a situation yesterday that I really didn't know enough about.
So Shane and Jeffrey's genius idea was to give Jeffrey a platform to present his racism in the most sympathetic way possible, in the best possible light. Again, notice how he still doesn't admit to being racist, even at that time, but instead he just hyper-focuses on one clip and gives context for that one.
And this is from 13 now. This is 13 years ago, I think. I was 19, and we are on the streets of Miami on the boardwalk. And there is a bunch of chicks screaming, "Fag freak," at me. So I turn around and I say some really vicious stuff back. If you go and find the footage, the people I'm screaming at are Caucasian. Yeah, what I said was racist, but I wasn't saying it to a person of color. I was saying a horrible, offensive word to cut back at someone calling me something awful. So it's not about race, it's not about any of that. It was just about being an offensive, attention-seeking, angry person.
Maybe if we zoom into his face close enough and make people feel sorry for him, then people will almost forget it's racism. Of course, this sob story did succeed in changing the tide of public opinion in Jeffrey's favor anyway, because people would rather believe that someone is just misunderstood than that someone's bigoted. So yeah, Shane Dawson's PR stunt worked. Millions of people saw the new brand safe Jeffrey, the new Jeffrey that Jeffrey invented and is cosplaying as, while still being the old Jeffrey. And as we're going to see later into this video, the old Jeffrey is a compulsive liar.
I've been lying to all of you, and the woman that I have been posting for the last 5 years is not my mother.
Now, I want to make something very clear. As you can tell, I have plenty of criticism for Jeffree Star, but when it comes to decisions that people make about their family, I'm never gonna judge. You honestly never know what somebody's life is like outside of the small window that they tell you about on YouTube. And even though Jeffrey's window is kind of stained, his family stuff that he doesn't choose to put forward publicly on the internet is all up to him. So when I learned that he hadn't spoken to his mother in years and years, honestly, I felt bad for him and I respected his decision. But then when I learned that he had a different family member playing his mom the entire time, and he was pretending that that was his birth mother, it all started to feel a bit weird. Now, I'm not really exposing or sharing new stuff with this point. I'm just including it to prove a point. See, in 2018, Jeffrey actually came forward with this information himself, right after the Shane series.
The imagery that pops up when you Google my mother is a lie. The name that pops up when you Google my mom and pictures of us, all of it is a lie. It's been a lie this whole time, and it started out as like a cute white lie. And I'm sure all of you are wondering, who is this woman? Her name is Lori, and she is my actual aunt.
Now, again, being closer to your aunt than your mom is a family thing. Everyone's family is different. Ultimately, I'm just glad he had someone there for him. But parading your aunt around on social media as your mom, that's some next level stuff. The reason I'm including this point is not to say, you know, he shouldn't have done this or he's a bad person for how he dealt with his mother. It's just more so like, you can't really trust anything about this person. He may have his reasons sometimes. He may not have any valid reasons at all most of the time. But Jeffree Star just kind of lies all of the time.
Now we are one of the top 10 brands in America. Like, what the f***? 2019 has been a blessing.
So, 2019 was shaping up to be a great year for Jeffree Star. For better or for worse, he managed to outrun his reputation. Thanks to Shane and his new direction, he now had an even more massive audience than before. And all of these new people were just as emotionally invested. And they had their wallets ready. It seemed like 2019 was going to be a great year, but like all record highs, it was followed by a new low.
Jeffrey got in contact with the FBI. Watching.
Hello. Chị không biết nha. Chị chào mọi người lên máy thấy ai á.
Em vừa bắn Valorant ở Việt Nam đấy bạn.
Thì bắn đi em.
Thôi, em bắn xong rồi. Mì chơi tiếp đi không?
Không em nha.
Hả?
Không. Lười quá à. Không ai chơi, không ai on.
Sáng mai á?
Sáng mai gì?
Bảo cái gì cơ?
Không ai on hết. Tao muốn chơi Don't Starve Together để tao chui vô trong kia tao phá tiếp mà. Không ai on hết.
Hello biết hello mày. Ủa sao ai đổi tên mình thành anh cậu quân vậy? Ây da.
Hello anh Quân.
Hello, hello.
Hôm nay không ai lên chơi với mày hả mày?
I don't know. Hôm qua cả lũ chơi ngáo quá thức tới 8-9 giờ sáng xong đi làm chắc đuối quá hả?
Chắc vậy quá.
Lúc tiên mày thức tới 3 giờ chiều.
Mày thức tới 3 giờ chiều luôn hả?
Ừ.
Kinh vậy mày. Thức kìa không tốt cho sức khỏe đâu mày ơi. Mấy tháng 4 giờ sáng là mày chịu hết nổi mày ngủ. Qua mày ngủ còn 2 giờ.
Mày là cú đêm mà.
Ây da mày ngủ đêm. Mày sống giờ Việt Nam mà.
Đâu, cái đâu hết chứ phải giờ Việt Nam mà giờ chắc giờ Nhật quá.
Ây da. Ở hồi đó mày có ở bên Nhật không?
Không. Có đâu.
Tại thấy mày dễ đẹp quá.
Vậy hả?
Hồi đó hồi nhỏ mình thấy mọi người dễ đẹp thì khoái. Dễ không bao giờ đẹp mà dễ xấu quá.
Thì bởi vì không phải luyện mà.
Phải luyện, nếu mà dễ không đẹp là phải luyện, phải có người chỉ.
Không. Thời trước vẽ không có đẹp đâu. Luyện lâu mới vậy. Giờ vẫn chưa đủ hài lòng đây. Vẫn thấy mình vẽ xấu thôi. Không bao giờ hài lòng.
Tốt rồi, không bao giờ hài lòng thì sẽ càng ngày vẽ càng đẹp. Hốt định trở thành manga không mày?
Không, mangaka cực lắm. Không vẽ kiểu đó đâu. Vẽ kiểu truyện tranh cho con nít thì được chứ vẽ mangaka cực lắm không?
Thì có chứ.
Cực lắm. Chạy deadline mệt.
Dạ, hôm nay mọi người lên đây chơi gì vậy? Chơi gì luôn?
I don't know. Về qua đây.
Hôm nay Will cũng vậy luôn hả? Will cũng không lên luôn. Will, Cam.
Nhắn cũng không trả lời. Cam nãy nó on mà chắc nó đi ăn cơm rồi.
Nó chơi League of Legends nè. Nó chơi TFT nè.
Cam thì nó chơi bà Linh thì nó mới chơi Don't Starve Together. Nó vô nó phá bà Linh á, cho bà chửi á. Nó phá nghe bà Linh chửi á.
Cam nó phá nghe Linh chửi quá nha. Nó bị kiểu như nó không nghe chửi là không, ngày đó không có yên, ngày đó không cảm giác tốt.
Không ngủ ngon, không nghe bà Linh chửi thì nó ngủ không ngon.
Em không phải chửi mà mọi người cứ chửi em cơ. Em lại. Sao mọi người chửi Cam nhá, chứ chửi em.
Ngày nào mà không chửi Cam đi.
Ủa mà em cần cái gì đó? Moon Rock hả? Hôm qua với chị xuống từ tháng Nguyên 7 nhưng mà em phải đi đập cơ giống như chào đá ấy, dưới hang ấy. Chị Tiến nữa vô coi có ai lên không mà Tiến nữa vô coi hai đứa mình đi đập. Yeah.
Ủa mày Khương ông tạo lại cái server mới chơi hả?
Đâu, server là bị host mà.
Ồ, server bị host hả?
Tại Khương host á, mạng Khương yếu, máy yếu nó bị giật á. Đông người quá là nó không chơi được. Nhưng mà lắc quá. Yeah. Nhưng mà mì hốt thì lại có người không chơi được đó là anh Khoai, còn lại ai cũng chơi được, mì cũng kiểu bắt the hell go nè.
Kỳ vậy?
Nó kiểu không được chừa làm ai mắc cười lắm, lúc đầu nó Khoai chơi được, xong càng lúc càng về sau anh Khoai bị out luôn.
Kỳ vậy ta.
Chả hiểu bị gì nữa. Hôm nay chắc Linh đuối rồi. Sáng thức tới sáng xong đi làm luôn ấy.
Ủa sáng nay đi làm nữa hả? Đi làm mà Linh về mà Linh ngủ rồi chứ còn gì nữa.
Đâu mới nhắn tin trên gì thấy có on mà mới xin ba Linh lúc 1 giờ mà.
For any trace of
$2.5 million worth of physical cosmetics, $2.5 million in cosmetics stolen from Jeffree Star.
Now, I would like to.
Qua đây tìm Khương nói chuyện đây.
Kim Khương trước đi. À.
To include a preface for this part. Unlike the other points in this timeline, this whole robbery section is actually just me speculating. Behold, Jeffree Star Cosmetics' alleged $2.5 million robbery that made national news last year. Now, this isn't me saying that it didn't happen, but it's just me sharing my opinion, which is that it didn't happen. Here's why I believe that it's completely possible that Jeffree Star faked this entire $2.5 million robbery for promo for his new line of concealer products. So, the first source that Jeffree Star was robbed was Jeffree Star himself. They came in through the roof, and he claims that there's footage, but then he doesn't show any footage. Now, again, this could very easily just be because there's an ongoing investigation. Or it could just be because this is literally an advertisement for his concealers.
They hit us really hard. They came in through the roof. It was a very professional job. It was a team of people. And when you watch footage of this stuff, it is so gut-wrenching. They took thousands of Northern Lights. They took thousands of lip liners. And they took an entire shade of concealer. Like, I have 30 plus shades in this amazing line. I am so proud of it. The formula is unreal, and I am so excited for you guys to experience it later this month. I didn't plan on talking about it or showing things off today, but hi, things happen.
So according to Jeff, the FBI got involved, tracked down an unnamed individual who was selling that makeup, and then jailed that individual. You following? So this unnamed individual sold this makeup to a random lady who then tried to sell it on Facebook. Now, that Facebook listing is real. That's confirmed, and that random lady was named Tessa Rollison.
I have hired a whole entire investigative team to help me with law enforcement. We are in contact with FBI. The picture that a lot of you saw online was from a girl that stole the original picture. So this person is in jail. The girl that leaked the photo, she is part of the problem.
So basically, a team of highly trained and professional thieves broke into a warehouse through the ceiling, stole millions of dollars worth of makeup, and then sold some to some random girl on Facebook who immediately got them caught. Right off the bat, that story is nonsensical and way too conveniently lined up with the launch of Jeffree's new concealer. 30 Shades, you guys, 30 Shades. It's just so convenient that they managed to steal an entire shade of his new concealer that he hadn't even launched yet, therefore making his robbery announcement double as the concealer announcement. And then the FBI got involved. Except, guess what the FBI and local law enforcement had to say about it? Nothing. There are no statements or confirmation about this outlandish tale other than Jeffree Star himself. Now, again, my initial thought was maybe, the police department just doesn't comment on things like this. But then I looked into it, and the reason so many people believe that Jeffree Star was telling the truth without being shown any evidence or confirmation from other sources was because there actually had been a string of makeup-related heists that occurred before Jeffree Star announced this. One of the most notable ones was an ABH makeup warehouse getting robbed. But when you look at how they got robbed, magically, it's the exact same as Jeffree Star's story. But the article says the LAPD said that subjects sawed through the roof. So despite this being the same story by presumably the same people, notice how law enforcement actually made a statement in ABH's case where it was confirmed, but magically didn't answer reporters when asked for a statement about Jeffree. For ABH, an LAPD spokesperson shared more information. And in Jeffree's case, there was no spokesperson, no police records, no evidence of any kind. Just the pictures of empty boxes that Jeffree Star released and a few Facebook listings. The issue with that is anybody can make a Facebook listing if you have have a picture of the product, and Jeffree Star himself admitted that people were using pictures of the product that they didn't even own. This means these listings don't even confirm that people actually had the makeup. Here's a statement from that Tessa Rollison lady explaining that she didn't in fact have the makeup, but moreover, that the FBI didn't actually contact her.
In the moment, it was like, wow, I can just get these concealers. I have access to them. Like, this would be great.
Rollison says she never had possession of any of the stolen makeup, but she did break her own rule when she did not get receipts or other proof that the goods were legit. Rollison says the FBI has not contacted her.
So the FBI is on the case, but they don't even bother to contact the lady who's confirmed to have purchased this makeup from the person that they arrested. It was at this point that I realized there's just no evidence for this robbery at all. Like, none that I was personally able to see. Now, again, I will just end this one by saying I'm still speculating. I'm not saying that without a doubt this $2.5 million robbery absolutely did not happen and no products were stolen. In fact, I can't really prove that no robbery happened at all. But Jeffree Star can prove that it did happen, and for some reason he hasn't. And then after that, the story just got dropped completely. There was just no follow-up to a $2.5 million robbery in the news. The only stories you can find about this are the ones reporting that Jeffree said it happened. Basically, he said it was true, nobody questioned it, he generated a ton of buzz for the announcement of his new concealer product, and then everyone just promptly forgot about it. Now, if I see anything in the future that is evidence that this giant multi-million-dollar robbery did in fact occur, then of course, that's what I'll believe. But as of now, seeing as believing the story means believing Jeffree Star of all people at face value with no evidence, when the story itself already doesn't make any sense, yeah, I choose not to. Okay, hey, I'm editing, and this is just a quick note. While I was editing, this is how easy it is to get people to write about you, even when you don't have proof. There is now an MTV Australia article about me claiming that Jeffree Star's robbery was fake on MTV Australia. They're basically going down some of the tweets I outlined with some of the stuff I put in this video. Yeah, guys, it's literally that easy to get people to write about what you're saying. Oh my gosh.
Hi sisters, how are ya? Alright, so today we have James Charles here and he is going to transform me like you guys have never seen before.
Now, one thing that had been brewing in these past couple of years was a wholesome friendship between Jeffree Star and James Charles, aka not just his new friend, but also his biggest competitor on YouTube. James Charles managed to rise to the same level of fame and then a bit higher than Jeffree Star in a much shorter time period. And seeing as he didn't have a past history of all that stuff that Jeffree was doing, it turned out that he was much more widely loved. So despite the love that Jeffree showed, it was kind of inevitable that their friendship was going to end with a bang.
Very
Those
scary.
dark thoughts.
Yeah, these are
like
really-
bringing back traumatic experiences.
Yes,
honestly.
I know. We're having a little bit of PTSD right now. I'm shook.
Jeffree called James a predator. He's a danger to society.
There is a
The internet
reason
went
that
crazy
Nathan
after Tony
banned James
posted
Charles
this.
from ever coming over to our
Blown
home
away
again.
by
There's a
how
reason.
everybody just dropped James on a dime like,
I'm sorry.
So, the YouTuber Tati Westbrook made a video in which she exaggerated, misrepresented information, and at times flat out lied in order to accuse James Charles of predatory behavior. Like I said, I have a video about Tati coming soon, but for now, all you need to know for context is that I have mixed feelings on Tati Westbrook for a number of reasons, none of which we will be discussing in this video. Jeffree, on the other hand, used this bombshell video to insert himself into this drama, not for no reason, but with a very specific aim to take down James Charles once and for all. He called James not just a predator, but a danger to society, and claims that he banned him from his home. He did this all public, and according to James Charles, he privately said even worse things about James. Now, Jeffree told the world that he was going to come forward with receipts that prove that everything Tati said in her video was correct. Then instead of coming forward with receipts, he came forward with this video.
I do regret sending those tweets. Before fully accusing an individual of doing anything, I need more facts. So moving forward, I want to let you guys know something. I'm done. I am done with the tea, with the drama, and I don't want to be involved in anyone's situations anymore.
Sound familiar? 2017 vibes. Jeffree Star never changes because he never tries to change. Like, the reason he never learns is because he already knows exactly what kind of person he is and that the things he's saying aren't true. This man never shares proof of anything, and yet somehow he has us constantly discussing his drama as if it even exists. I have to be honest, that's a bit of a power move.
The sold-out Shane Dawson X Jeffree Star Cosmetics collection, the coveted conspiracy palette.
Now, I'm actually not going to go into too much detail about this one because I already made an entire video about it. Long story short, Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star lied and manipulated their audience using the bi-sister drama in order to sell out their new makeup collection. It was pretty elaborate stuff, but just watch that video if you want the details. But I will add this, something I didn't cover in that video. Notice how, now that Shane has done the dirty work of making Jeffree Star seem like a good person via the PR series, he now releases a physical product with him in a collaboration. If he had done that before making that first docu-series on Jeffree, then he would have gotten the same treatment that Kim K did, which is getting shunned for working with a racist. You know, like an understandable reaction. But because he did it after the world believed Jeffree was such a good person, the two of them got universal love, and the palette sold out within like minutes. See, these people might be dumb, but they're not dumb. And I, for one, just want to know how much money is in the contract that they made each other sign. And now, we're to the 2020 part of this.
Black history is a continuum. It's who we were, who we are, and who we will become.
There's Mommy. No. You're not gonna go back in, buddy. It's okay.
You beat teams like this all season long. We can do this. Go, go, go.
Timeline. As you can see, Jeffree started off in a bad position in 2017, but he used the power of persuasion and an airtight PR strategy to become not just the internet's darling, but legitimately one of the richest people on YouTube. And he managed to do it all without doing the one thing that he can't, which is change his behavior. But 2020 is where this story takes a nosedive. Even though I have focused this video on Jeffree's recent actions, like I said I would, some things from his past were about to come back in a big way this year. There's a lesson in here somewhere about how him and his fans trying to force other people to ignore his past wound up not working out, since his past was not just something that happened a long time ago, but rather something that shaped and explained his behavior today. But I digress. Alright, now this one right here is just weird, okay? I don't know how else to explain it. Remember how Jeffree publicly claimed that James Charles was a predator and banned from his home? Well, here he is publicly congratulating James months after making those claims. James killed it as per usual, he said, referring to a makeup job, and acting as if nothing had happened between them. Honestly, what sense does that make? Now, this on its own is a little weird, but it's much worse when you start to realize this isn't even the first time that Jeffree Star flopped back and forth between calling James Charles a menace and publicly showing support for him. In fact, he even told James that he misses him on Twitter, supposedly after the time when he got banned from his house. I'm gonna insert this picture right here. It's just a full timeline created by the YouTuber Sebastian Williams of every single time Jeffree Star flops back and forth when it comes to James Charles. Pause it and read, and you'll see just how unhinged he's becoming at this point. You can literally see his lies catching up with him. Alright, so thankfully this point on the timeline is pretty lighthearted. I included it because while it fits the theme, it's mostly just funny to me, and it's a much needed break before we get to what is ultimately the darkest part of this video. So basically, Jeffree Star had uploaded a video last year called Surprising My Boyfriend with His Dream Car. In the description, he says that his boyfriend's dream car was an Aston Martin. You know, typical YouTuber stuff. Typical YouTubers who can, like, afford an Aston Martin. So that, in and of itself, not really worth noting. However, Jeffree and his boyfriend went through a public breakup in March of 2020, and that's when fans noticed that Jeff still had the car, almost as if he never actually gave it to his boyfriend in the first place. So when people asked him about that, he went back and changed the title to Pretending to Surprise My Boyfriend with His Dream Car, and then goes on to explain in this new description that an Aston Martin was actually his dream car. So all this to say, Jeffree got 12 million views on what is ultimately just a 15-minute video of him and his boyfriend being horrible actors.
Calling me right now.
Jeffree's calling me. Hey, babe.
Surprise!
Damn.
Yes.
This is so nice.
If it's not clear by now, literally nothing this man says is true. Nothing this man does is real. Like, with most people say things and I believe them, and then later I might find out, oh wow, that's not true. With Jeffrey, he says things, and I just immediately assume it's not true until I find out otherwise. All he does is lie and get caught by his lies. And, you know, while this one is just something as silly and inconsequential as a car, a much bigger, darker lie was about to resurface and face Jeffrey head on.
We've got an exclusive interview with Jeffree Star on Sunday as we continue our investigation into the Davi vanity case.
In April of this year, Jeffrey appeared on a live stream with former TV host and the man behind To Catch a Predator, Chris Hansen. Now, Jeffrey wasn't there because he was a predator. He was there to discuss his involvement with the musician Davi Vanity. The two were very close because they came up together in that same MySpace area of music. But then things started to get really dark. See, here's Jeffrey around 10 years ago calling Davi out for messing with kids. As you can see, he specifically said he saw Davi taking girls into his hotel room. 100% illegal. For context, Davi Vanity is in fact guilty of messing with kids, according to the Pinellas County Sheriff Office. He just got away with it because he claimed he didn't know the victim's age and they had trouble moving forward. But then a bunch of other people came forward and said similar things that happened to them, so yikes. So all in all, it's really good that Jeffree Star called this out and was so vocal about somebody who he had a connection with on his platform. The issue is, about 1 year later, he took this all back and then congratulated Davi. Are you starting to see a pattern here? Here's Jeffrey claiming that he's on good terms with Davi, congratulating him, and then announcing a tour with the man that he saw take girls into his hotel room, 100% illegal. By publicly going back on this information, Jeffrey made it extremely difficult for the victims to come forward and be taken seriously, because what was a high-profile witness was now claiming he and Davi were just buddy-buddy. So basically, Jeffree Star either decided to work with an alleged criminal for profit, or he had lied about seeing that alleged criminal in action. And considering Davi Vanity's actual criminal history, I feel like the answer is kind of obvious. So, fast forward 10 years later to Jeffrey being asked about this by Chris Hansen. All you need to know for context is that I have mixed feelings about Chris Hansen for a number of reasons, none of which we'll be discussing in this video. But basically, instead of questioning him outright, Chris Hansen just let Jeffrey make a bunch of excuses and didn't even nail him down for contradicting himself.
I don't have anything to report. If I actually saw and witnessed something, he would be rotting in jail this very moment. But I never saw anything besides inappropriate behavior. I never witnessed anything that could be used as evidence. And I think somehow people think I do, and I'm not saying it.
You send out these tweets, and yet in 2012, I believe, correct, you go back out on tour and essentially make public statements that
and a lot of people want to
and you're supporting him at this point. Well, how do you square that?
Me calling Davi my brother, that's just me being dramatic.
At this point, Jeffrey's lies don't even make sense as they come out of his mouth. But at the exact same time as those lies were blowing up in his face, a much more recent one was about to come back in a big way.
We have the guest, Jeffree Star, on the show. The queen of YouTube. Oh, hi.
In the same month, Jeffree Star went on the popular podcast Mom's Basement, hosted by the YouTubers Keemstar, FaZe Banks, and Colossal is Crazy. On that podcast, they asked Jeff a few tough questions, including whether or not James Charles was really a danger to society. Now remember that at this point in time, Jeffrey had already flip-flopped on his opinion on James Charles multiple times. But instead of answering their yes or no question, Jeffree Star did something much more extreme and much more serious. He claimed that he had a voice note on his phone that he interpreted as evidence that James Charles was a predator.
One thing, real quick. Is James Charles a danger to society? Is he a predator?
Keem? If you want, we can pause and I can go in another room and play Banks what I have on my phone, and he can determine if he would have sent the same tweet.
This was now getting real, okay? We went from Jeffree Star making fake claims to support them, to Jeffree Star very deliberately claiming that he has evidence of a first-hand witness testimony that one of the biggest YouTubers on the platform is hurting people. Now, of course, as far as I'm concerned, this evidence isn't evidence of anything because it's coming from Jeffree Star. And on top of that, nobody has come forward and said, oh yes, this is me, I made that voice memo. But just to so proudly flaunt that you have blackmail material against James Charles on your phone to such a public platform is absolutely insane. But if that wasn't bad enough, Jeffree Star then proceeded to lie about the Davi Vanity situation again while he was on the Mom's Basement podcast.
I mean, that's such a misleading tweet. So misleading. No? We saw Darby bring under.
Nghe giọng ai? À, chấm ức. Gì nhỉ? Tại cái bàn nó chơi là bàn mặt trượt á.
Chán quê. Đập chim cúc bỏ ra bánh trong chỗ ăn vậy. Hôm nay mẹ em sắp đó, mém tin là đốt nhà đợt 2 chị. Mấy hôm trước là quên cái nồi thịt kho tàu. Hôm nay quên nồi lẩu với cái đang hầm gân bò ấy. Quên luôn, ngủ mất tiêu luôn, mình thấy sai sai. Không biết là mẹ đang để bếp để chờ mọi người về ăn hay cái gì, mình đi ra, mình đi vô 2 tiếng sau mình đi ra, thấy nước cạn rồi, hiểu luôn, may quá chưa cháy. Kiểu em kiểu ủa rồi lúc rồi mẹ đang mở bếp để làm gì vậy ta, mình cứ đi ra rồi mình đi vô, mình đi vô thấy mẹ đang ngủ, xong mình cái nhìn bếp rồi chắc mọi người sắp về rồi đó, 2 tiếng sau vẫn chưa thấy ai về, thôi đi tắt bếp. Tự nhiên em thấy là việc thức khuya của em có lợi ích lắm Linh.
Tại sao?
Lợi ích là vì em có thể kiểm tra bếp khi mà mẹ em quên tắt quên hoài à.
Ok.
Kiểu thiệt sợ hãi các thứ, đâu phải 1-2 lần đâu, hình như là 1 tháng cũng phải có 2-3 lần. Cũng tội lớn rồi, bắt đầu lớn rồi không nhớ nữa. Nên giờ nhà em đang tính thay luôn cái bếp mà nó có hẹn giờ hay cái gì đấy mà nghe mùi khó hở tắt luôn ấy. Chắc ăn. Piu. Còn bao nhiêu cái trứng cút đây, nãy buồn miệng ăn còn mất trơn. Ủa rồi Khương
Nhân
hè nho
biết rồi.
Dạ.
Chị Quỷ đang ăn Oreo trong sữa nè em ơi.
Em ơi chị đừng nói đó.
Sao ấy?
Nó nói con nó thích Oreo.
Ủa thế á? Ăn không? Mua chưa, nhà có không?
Không, em không mua
Oreo
đâu.
rẻ lắm. Ôi, ở bên này là nhìn mẹ Oreo rẻ lắm
À.
ý.
Oreo sợ trường á.
Sao? Nói.
Mày không nói sớm chứ bên này Oreo rẻ mà.
Thèm cái gì nữa không?
Mày chờ tao xíu, tao luộc hết trứng cút xong tao chụp hình bánh tráng trộn mẹ.
Em thích ăn loại tin hay là em thích loại regular?
Em có 2 option, một là em vô Dollar Store nó cũng bán Oreo á. Hoặc là nếu em
ăn regular.
một là em vào Dollar Store á, ở gần nhà chị có cái Dollar Store đấy, bán đấy. Bởi vì Oreo bên này rẻ lắm, Dollar Store bán mà.
Dollar Store là ở đoạn nào chị ạ?
Ngay cạnh nhà chị, đi thẳng lên một tí, đối diện Starbucks á.
Em có điện thoại em mở map để em coi.
Có lên đâu. Các bạn lên chơi nào. Dẫn đi tiếp. Ông nội thấy Quỷ bận đó, xong rồi im luôn. Tự làm bạn mình buồn cười chết được.
Kiểu nó kiểu nó sợ làm phiền ai ấy. Kiểu đã bảo rồi phải đúng rồi. Không kiểu I don't know.
Tại cũng mới vô, chưa quen ấy. Yeah, tại chưa quen ấy.
Nói chung thì ok. Ê, Mít, chồng tao sắp đi 5 ngày. Tao không biết phải làm gì.
Ở nhà xem phim.
Thằng biết nó cày Boruto ghê lắm chị ạ.
Tuần này chị cũng thế mà, tuần này chị cũng ở nhà. 3 ngày nghỉ của chị là chị nhìn mẹ chị qua nhà chơi game.
Nghe nói sai không? Nghe nói sai không? Nói chuyện với thằng con trai. Ê chồng tao đi 5 ngày.
Cũng đúng rồi, nó sai vậy.
Mày nghĩ gì không? Mày chưa dọn nhà không? Qua nhà chị dọn. Alo, chưa dọn nhà không? Vậy chị dọn nhà. Lý không?
Không, em để sang em chấn máy anh luôn để em chơi thôi.
Dọn nhà.
Nó là Ocean number mấy? Ocean number 4 hay number 5?
Em không thích dọn nhà, em lười lắm.
Thế thôi, nhìn mẹ không lười mà
không rửa chén được không?
lười.
Không, em biết làm nhưng mà em không muốn làm.
À, biết làm mà không muốn làm à? Nhìn mẹ thế bây giờ bảo cho ăn có làm không?
Chị Linh nấu ăn ngon lắm nha mày.
Ăn cháo lòng không?
Trời ơi, Thôi chắc
tiết canh à? Được à?
Không có tiết canh, cháo lòng thôi. Mày nghĩ mày biết món đấy làm cực cái nào không?
dạ cháo lòng cực thật.
Cháo lòng chỉ làm 6 tiếng đồng hồ ấy. Chỉ làm 6 tiếng đồng
Ủa
hồ.
mà anh nhớ bữa em nhớ là Linh bảo là Linh ăn được cháo lòng mà Linh không ăn tiết canh rồi.
Chị ăn được hết, chị không thích ăn
À.
tiết canh tại vì nó I don't know, chị cảm giác như kiểu nó không có sếp á.
Em nói thiệt luôn á, nhà em không biết sao cả người nhà tới lớn trừ em ra là ai cũng biết ăn tiết canh, cái trừ em ra thôi.
Chị chỉ cảm thấy nó
Ngon
không
mà
sếp.
em ăn tiết canh này em sẽ nhớ cảm giác em chặt cổ gà. Tiết
Ôi yêu, mày nói là đâu đã.
Em biết chặt à? Biết chặt luôn đó hả?
Oh my
em
god.
biết mà em toàn cứa cổ gà, nó phun máu ra mà.
Yêu.
Xong rồi lấy cái bát hừng đúng không?
Ừ.
Hồi trước
Cái nào mà chặt cái bằng cái là xong rồi đó, là xong con mẹ rồi.
hồi trước
Hồi mà nhà Linh á, hồi mà daddy còn có tiền á, daddy ra đi ăn ở mấy chỗ tiệm sáng lắm. Mấy tiệm đó nó độc quế mà nó đắt phải lồ luôn, nó cầm con ba ấy đứng trước cái chỗ bàn của mình á. Nó mang đến bàn của mình nhưng mà nó không có để trên cái bàn của mình, nó để kiểu nó có cái xe đẩy á, nó để trước bàn của mình, xong kiểu nó present con ba còn sống ấy, xong nó cưỡng ổn ba trước mặt mình.
Em nói thiệt là em không bao giờ em ăn ba luôn á, em mà biết là em không bao giờ em đụng tới luôn á.
Xong rồi lấy cái máu đấy hứng ở cốc ấy, xong pha với rượu á.
Ba.
Đúng rồi mà, đúng rồi đấy.
Mắc lắm á.
I know.
Rẻ đâu.
Hồi trước là nhà mày có họ hàng cũng có nuôi đấy, nhưng mà mày thấy thiệt là mày thề mày không bao giờ đụng tới mấy con lìn đấy luôn ấy, mày không ăn.
Thì đúng rồi.
Đợi xíu.
Còn một món nữa là thời đó là chị nhìn thấy mà chị nhìn mẹ chưa bao giờ dám ăn. Ốc khỉ sống.
Thôi dẹp mẹ luôn. Yêu. Ủa Việt Nam mình còn ăn cái đấy à? What?
Sao có em?
Có mà, Việt Nam mình thịt chuột còn ăn thôi.
Nó chuột đồng đó, ta còn chấp nhận cái ốc khỉ á.
Cái hồi mà chị ấy cái đấy á là cách đây mấy năm rồi. Là lúc ấy bố chị dắt chị đi ăn cái tiệm đồng quê. Xong rồi mà hồi đấy chị đâu có ăn ở đấy đâu, kiểu nhậu ấy, hình như chị không biết tại sao bố chị cho chị đi bình thường, kiểu chắc là kiểu tiệm đường thôi, chắc kiểu tiệm đường chị đi học không đón này, kiểu hôm mấy ăn không ok đi, chứ hôm để bố chị đi kiểu nói chuyện toàn mấy chú với bác con trai không à, nhậu đâu đưa chị con này đâu, kiểu đúng má tao lần đầu tiên được chiêm ngưỡng, trời ơi. Ở Việt Nam hay lắm, mỗi lần cho con cháu đi chơi ấy, nhà chị có truyền thống á, mẹ cứ có nhà chị lúc nào cũng có trẻ con á, nên lúc nào đi ăn ở bất kỳ một tiệm nào á là cũng order 2 phần cơm chiên với 2 phần ngô chiên đó, xong rồi trẻ con thực sự 2 phần khoai tây chiên luôn đó, thì mẹ bao cái món nếu là đi đâu cũng có
món huyền thoại của món thần thoại của Linh thôi.
ngô chiên ở Việt Nam nó chiên ngon lắm nhá. Nó có cái kiểu một cái lớp bột mà chị không biết ở chỗ khác nhau, mà Hải Phòng mày nhớ không, thì mấy cái ngô chiên ấy
em chưa bao giờ
mấy cái
ăn.
tiệm nhà hàng ăn á,
Chắc bữa nay em phải
mà nó
thử.
chiên ngon lắm, khoai tây cũng ngon, kiểu
nó chiên kiểu gì nhá, mà đường dính vào cái ngô cơ.
Và nó có một cái lớp vỏ bọc ấy, nhưng mà chị không biết là nó ngọt mà nó kiểu nó ăn nghiền lắm á, vị bơ kiểu bơ thơm thôi là thơm, mà nó ăn nghiền lắm.
Em chưa bao giờ ăn món đấy, chắc bữa nay em phải ghé mới được.
Chị không biết, phải xong rồi chị ơi, đợt mà chị đi về Việt Nam thì cái là năm ngoái ấy, là
iPad còn Minh đó mẹ lấy chơi đi.
bác chị kỷ niệm ngày cưới, bạn bố chị phải bác, thì bạn bố chị kỷ niệm ngày cưới mời mở 4 mâm mà một mâm để mười mấy người, kỷ niệm ngày cưới what the fuck, là như lúc ấy cũng phải 50 người, bao nguyên cái tiệm trên của nhà hàng đéo nào ấy. Oh my god, đồ ăn ở đấy ngon vãi luôn, chị thề, chị kiểu tại sao Việt Nam có thể nấu đồ ngon như thế, kiểu như mình ăn mà mình đéo biết, chị không biết là ở Việt Nam hay technically ở Hải Phòng mà trời ơi.
Hơi bị sai rồi, đồ Việt Nam rất ngon luôn.
Thì chị bảo chị vừa nói mà, và technically chị không biết là ở Hải Phòng hay là ở Việt Nam, tại vì chị có mỗi ở Hải Phòng, chị có vào Sài Gòn, nhưng mà vào một thời gian ấy kiểu chỉ có 2 tuần ấy, chưa kiểu khám phá được nhiều.
Ở Sài Gòn thì nhiều chỗ ăn đêm vui hơn.
Ấy, Hải Phòng có mày, vớ vẩn.
Không mà nhiều giờ đa dạng lắm.
Hải Phòng nhiều lắm em, Hải Phòng đêm là đi mẹ, Hải Phòng đêm là ôi dồi ôi.
Em chả biết.
Chị chuyên ta đi đêm mà, tầm 2-3 giờ đêm chị biết luôn đi chơi.
Lúc mà em lên Sài Gòn chơi được mấy bữa, lúc đó em bé tí teo 8 tuổi à.
Chơi quán nét nào?
Tại nhà cũng đâu có dư dả đâu.
Hồi đấy chị chơi ở quán gần nhà chị ở quán Hồ Sen. Quán ngay bảo em là ngay đầu số 6. Một quán nữa chơi ở Alien Game. đây đầu
Alien
vào
đóng
đấy.
cửa nhỉ?
Thì vào đây của bác vậy luôn. Cũng nhưng mà cái nó cũng rẻ.
No nha, Alien không phải của bắp nha.
Không, chị thấy không, nếu mà so với cái chỗ gà kia chị thấy cũng
Không phải nó mới upgrade nhưng mà nó upgrade xong 2 tuần nó đóng cửa.
Chắc vỡ nợ rồi.
Cái quán mà chị hay chơi á là em biết cái chỗ bản bún chả mà khá là ngon, khác là ở đoạn từ đường Tô Hiệu, em đi gần đến hết đường Tô Hiệu rẽ tay phải ấy, là đi đến cái chỗ mà từ đường đây đi thẳng ra Hồ Sen ấy. Không phải Lương Khánh Thiện nhá, chị quên mất tên.
Tô Hiệu mà đi thẳng ra đường Hồ Sen ta?
Đâu, Tô Hiệu em rẽ qua cái chỗ đấy, nó giống như cái chỗ đấy là một cái đường, nó không phải là đường lớn, nó là một cái đường ra chợ con ấy. Đi thẳng đường ấy chợ con ấy. Đầu ở
Là
chỗ
sao?
đấy.
Nghe Linh kể quen toàn người Hải Phòng, thấy sao người Hải Phòng đi Canada nhiều quá ha?
Không nhiều lắm. Vancouver rất rồi.
Hải Phòng là in vào não, một là Toronto, hai là Úc, hai là Sydney.
Đúng rồi, Sydney. Bên nhà Linh cũng Hải Phòng thôi, Sydney đây. Cái bách Hải Phòng.
Tại vì đi Mỹ có
Trong khi đấy Canada cả bên. Cháu hiểu sao Mỹ khó.
Biết sao Mỹ khó, tại vì ấy cái mình biết là lúc mà mình làm hồ sơ ấy là bị khó, tại vì cái xuất thân của mình ở Hải Phòng ấy nó khó sang Mỹ. Không biết mấy người Việt Nam làm gì từ hồi trước.
không phải ở Hải Phòng hôm nay ít người đưa đến Mỹ lắm.
Linh biết sao không Linh? Mỹ nó ghét cộng sản. Yeah.
Nhưng mà đâu phải mỗi Hải Phòng đâu. Sài Gòn biết là Sài Gòn nhiều nhưng mà Sài Gòn cũng fail nhiều lắm.
Bạn em fail 3 lần đấy.
Nếu mà sao chị nhìn trung tâm sát hạch lái xe, what the fuck? Thiên Hương ở đâu ấy, what the fuck? Nhìn lạ đấy. Kiệt là cái gì?
Dạ.
Đây là đâu ấy? Đây đâu phải Hải Phòng không?
Đây là đâu? Tôi là ai? Đâu?
Ây da.
Ủa, Đăng Hải là gì? Đăng Lâm là gì?
Ở bên Tây Hải là nhà em.
Đây à? Lê Hồng Phong?
Lê Hồng Phong. Có cái đường to to chỗ Đăng Lâm ấy.
Đấy à?
Đại lộ Đông Tây ấy, đây là Đông Tây ở nhà em ấy.
Đâu?
Chị kéo tân phải, đại lộ Đông Tây đúng rồi. Nhìn cái chùa Kim Quang không?
Đi eo Đông Tây trên kìa, White Cemetery bên trái.
Đấy, mở to ra đấy nhà em.
Cái trong chùa luôn hả?
Không, bên cạnh chùa.
Tại vì chị có đứa bạn.
Không, ở bên trên, cái đường bên trên ấy, cái đường trên của Kim Quang, cái đường bên trên.
Không ngầm
cái đường ngang bên dưới ai, đường ngang bên dưới ai.
Đấy hả?
Đường nhà em ấy.
Nhà này hả?
Vâng, nhà đấy.
Chị biết chùa vẽ này. Vậy là chị biết nhà em rồi.
Ngu quá à.
Chị có một đứa Bùi Bắp ấy, đi vẽ đéo có nhà Bùi Bắp ấy. Chị có một đứa bạn ấy là nhà nó ở trong chùa Tuyên Quang á.
Tuyên Quang.
Người ấy ở trong đường.
Trời. Một cái coi cái chơi. Trời ơi là trời.
Tôi lấy là nhà em đó.
Phan Anh á, vừa công viên và vừa chùa luôn á. Không phải chùa mà là cái đền gì á. Đền người ta đi cúng á. Cúng đầu năm, đầu rằm.
Đấy, đúng rồi. Nhà của
Nhà Phan Anh mà.
Ok, chị kiếm nhà chị cho em nhá.
Kìa, Hải Phòng với nhau ngồi kiếm nhà kìa.
Hải Phòng boy.
Ê mày biết đâu, mày biết nhà tao ở đâu không?
Bạn đi xa nhà mình lắm rồi bạn ạ. Bạn zoom một tí.
Hải Phòng bỏ mẹ.
What? No, bạn ơi, bạn tìm trường Ngô Quyền cấp 2 ấy, đánh vào trung học cơ sở Ngô Quyền.
Ngô Quyền cấp 2 là
Trung học cơ sở Ngô Quyền đúng không hả?
Các cụt đi xuống. Ok, đến nhà Lê Chân kìa, nhà mình kìa. Được Hai Bà Trưng, nó kéo dưới. Hai Bà Trưng kéo dưới. Đấy, Mê Linh. Ok, nhìn thấy Mê Linh chưa? Mê Linh là cái đoạn kia.
Dạ, nhà người yêu cô tớ, cậu có thể, cậu phải nói nhà mình gì, nhà người yêu cô tớ.
Quên, ok.
Đây bạn ạ. For the record là bạn này là bạn với người yêu cũ của mình. By the way. Tiếp bạn là hồi ở Việt Nam ấy. Không, đây là nhà
toàn đoạn công an bắt đấy.
Không, nói chung là không, đây không phải nhà tao thì bạn đang tìm cái nhà tao rồi. Thế mà mày được Nguyễn Công Trứ ở đâu nhỉ?
Nguyễn Công Trứ đó là ở gần đoạn hàng kênh á.
Phải ra cua chợ ga.
Dù tự nhiên Sài Gòn leo ăn thôi.
Nguyễn Công Trứ là cái đường cắt ra đường hàng kênh ấy, cắt từ đường Hồ Sen ra hàng kênh á.
Ê Tuấn, by the way, anh luôn đi training ở Toronto 5 ngày là tao đến biết làm gì trong 5 ngày tới mày ạ? What to do?
Bạn quẩy đi thôi.
Thì bạn quẩy đâu? Có cái gì quẩy không?
Ngồi nhà mở rượu uống, bắn Valorant.
Again.
Ngày đéo nào tao chả uống.
Thế à?
Uống chả phương mai, oh my god, nghe mấy chuyện này sợ lạ vậy rồi. Tớ đang ngồi nhìn đéo lại kỷ niệm thì bạn đéo biết. Trung học cơ sở Trần Phú tao biết đường này rồi thì bạn. Đây là biển đâu?
Chị ơi, em nhớ từng cái ngóc ngách của Hải Phòng luôn đấy.
Ủa sao trung học cơ sở? Ủa, đến mẹ Trần Phú có trung học cơ sở?
Thật ra ngày xưa nó tên không phải là Trần Phú, nó mới đổi á.
Anh nhớ mẹ Trần Phú như các ba mà. Biết Hải Phòng mà.
Hồi nãy trường trung học cơ sở Ngô Quyền thành trung học phổ thông Ngô Quyền kìa.
Không có hai, Ngô Quyền này có hai.
Ngô
Quyền 2, Ngô Quyền 3.
Hồi trước mà em Phúc Bailey cũng có trung học cơ sở Ngô Quyền á.
Mì cây cấp 7. Hay lồng đến Nhất Ly lại thì mẹ thề hồ tí ngon giờ ăn về thì buồn vãi luôn.
Dạ. Hồi xưa ăn mì Quảng ở chợ ăn ngon vừa lần lúc em về em ăn chỉ hụt hẫng lắm luôn á nên không biết sao.
Chưa ăn mì Quảng bao giờ ấy.
Ăn cũng ngon lắm.
Ủa? Cửa hàng mặt trời bé con, cái cửa hàng đéo phải ở đối diện nhà tao hả mày? Sao tao nhìn lạ vậy?
Mặt trời bé con là bên cạnh nhà Hoàng Anh á.
Là nhà Hoàng Anh chứ bên cạnh đéo thì là nhà
Đâu,
bên
cạnh nhà Hoàng Anh.
Nhà nó cho thuê, tháo ơn tiền thuê tao tao không biết.
Ok.
Cãi cái gì?
Chị nhớ chúc người yêu cũ, nhớ chúc
Người yêu cũ tao lại không biết thì lại thế rồi.
Chị vừa bỏ là người yêu tao không biết.
Thôi, bây giờ yêu cũng được mà, có gì đâu. Đâu phải chồng tao đâu mà lo. Khứa về Việt Nam nhá.
Có tay dùng đú quỳnh.
Đến chỗ làm của nó ấy.
Rô mẹo rồi.
Mà nó có người yêu đéo lắm cho chị địa chỉ. Bạn biết không, đợt nó cầm cái con bên kia nó còn chỉnh cưới ấy. Thế là thì bạn ấy tớ về. Xong rồi tớ hỏi làm ở chi nhánh nào. Bố mẹ Lottery à?
Nước rộng cục rồi.
Chạy thôi chị trêu. Hello người yêu cô.
Yêu chị lên nghe chị dã man đấy.
Chị ác mà. Đúng mà, đéo ai ác như chị đâu. Để vừa nói nhỉ. Chưa gì rồi đi. Thế thì mình chỉ biết ở Hải Phòng có mấy cái hồ đấy hả?
Ở đấy là
Không biết là có mấy cái hồ này luôn á.
hồ ông báo ấy là
Hay là mới đào.
Tượng đài lên trên này cũng phải. Ủa, tượng đài. Ủa, cháu đâu? Tôi thấy Ngô Quyền á, Ngô Quyền đâu?
Ngô Quyền ngay dưới đấy. Ngô Quyền bên trên.
Tiểu học Nguyễn Văn Tố. Tam Bạc. Quê à?
Nhầm Ngô Quyền mấy? Ngô Quyền 2 á.
Bây giờ tôi thấy trường Trần Phú đổi tên à?
Không, trường Ngô Quyền 2 bây giờ là giáp với cả trường Ngô Quyền 3.
Ồ, for real?
Yeah.
Thế cái trường này là thành Trần Phú à?
Chắc thế, maybe. Chị kéo xuống thì chị nhìn thấy trường Ngô Quyền này, thì là cả hai trường ở đấy.
No. Ủa vậy là Ngô Quyền 2 phải Ngô Quyền 3 hay là Ngô Quyền 3 vào Ngô Quyền 2?
Nhìn nó gần nhau mà, thì nên là nó phá ra đi, người ta mua hết cái đoạn ở dư ấy, xong rồi người ta xây vào hai trường cạnh nhau luôn.
Interesting, vậy là tò mò to lắm à?
To, trường Ngô Quyền 3 to à?
Thật thật á?
Ôi chị ơi, tên Starbucks còn fake
bệnh viện tâm thần Hải Phòng.
Chưa kiếm được nhà chị em ạ.
Thì cứ kéo xuống nhà em đi.
Mẹ chị đang kiếm mà chị không nhớ đường Nguyễn Công Trứ ấy, Hồ Sen ấy.
Đây, Nguyễn Công Trứ đây, em kéo nó mà xem này.
Cũng học phổ thông á hả? Thái Nguyên là chứ. Đây này.
Chị ơi, Nguyễn Công Trứ nó ở đoạn Tô Hiệu.
Đây từ bắt đầu vậy cho em xem. Đây là nhà cũ ấy.
Nhà cũ của chị
đây
ở Long Vũ gì?
Đà Nẵng. Chỉ có 3-4 nhà, từ từ bình tĩnh.
Oh no, chỉ có 3-4 cái nhà.
Ok, thế thôi em không tìm 4 cái nhà.
Hồi đấy, tại vì chị đã chuyển 4-5 chỗ à. Có một thời gian chị sống, chị ở đối diện là em biết cái quán bé Thùi đường lên Lương Khánh Thiện không?
Cái gì ạ? Quán gì ạ?
Quán bé Thui đường Lương Khánh Thiện. To đúng, to vật vã luôn đấy. Đấy, thì nhà chị cách đấy 6 nhà. Đấy là nhà bác chị, hồi đấy chị ở đấy 4 năm. Nhưng mà anyway. Đây đấy, ngõ Lông Vũ.
Long mà, sợi Lông Vũ.
Ai biết? No, là Lông Vũ ấy mày. Lông Vũ ấy. Chị đéo phải là Long.
Long của bạn Vũ, ok.
Em ơi, người Hải Phòng thì học em biết không?
Em nào?
Đây này.
Ngõ Long Vũ ở đâu nhỉ?
Đây này, tập thể thủy tinh cái này.
Ngõ
13.
Ủa kìa nó ngõ Long.
Nhà chị là số 13. Số 13 tập thể thủy tinh Đà Nẵng Hải Phòng. Đấy.
Số 13 giờ chị tìm mãi không có đâu.
Thôi bỏ đi. Nhà đấy bây giờ là nhà của cô chị. Thế là cổng, nhưng mà cổng chị mất rồi. Cô cắt. Đéo thấy một cái nhà mình đâu.
Nhà chị ở đoạn Tô Hiệu.
Ê, Lê Lai Tô Hiệu đâu?
Ở vừa Lê Lai kìa.
Chị cắt xe đi, chị em để xe cho em.
Không, mày phải nhìn chị chứ không thích. Đất này, từ bình tĩnh. Đang thương thì nhá. Đỏ dầu. Từ từ đang đọc thì mình từ từ.
Cầu đất. Kéo xuống cầu đất, kéo sâu vào cầu đất.
Hàng cây. Nhà tao ở hàng cây. Mày
em biết rồi, nhưng mà đấy là kiểu mốc kéo thôi. Không thấy là ai ăn hoa.
Ô, xe đây này. Bố mẹ đây này, nhà tao đây này. Mày nhìn chứ bố mẹ đây. Nhà tao đây này.
Ủa nãy giờ nó qua đây nãy giờ mấy lần rồi.
Đây, để mày bị cây ông cuồng.
Thế ngày xưa chị học trường
Không. Nhà chị ngay cạnh trường này là chỗ em chị học. Nhà chị là đây, nhà chị nằm giữa hai trường học luôn. Là em sẽ chị học trường này và học trường này luôn. Đấy, ở đây em biết ngõ này nó có một cái đống đá đống gạch ở trên đây không? Cái ngõ này vẫn còn đống gạch đấy mà, database vẫn còn mà. Không mà bán gạch mà. Ngoài đầu ngõ đoạn này có gạch là đầu ngõ là có cái gạch, xong rồi có cả một đống
Rồi chơi Đông Fight Together chứ mọi người 6 người rồi này.
đâu ấy nhỉ? Đâu? Đây là đây nhà anh luôn
Bự dữ.
Không biết Phương là ai, bạn hỏi nhà Phương ở đâu tớ biết làm sao được.
Con Phương bạn thân anh con ấy, con Cherry ấy, con ex best friend của tao ấy.
Ok biết. Nhưng mà không biết nhà. Tớ đã nói chuyện bao giờ đâu mà.
Thế mà đi mẹ mày có trong cái list. Đi mẹ nó có trong list rồi đâu kìa. Đi mẹ đường gì mà bán nhiều đồ nội thất nhỉ? Anh em ơi. Đồ đất đúng không? Đường bán nhiều đồ nội thất là đồ đất đúng không? Đúng vậy rồi. Đúng rồi. Đây này.
Đồ đất là bán ba lô, vali.
Đây này, nhà tao. Mẹ đứng ấy đường gì nhỉ? Tức à, không nhớ được tức à.
Phương ấy không phải ở gần nhà bạn à?
Gần nhà tao mà tao quên mẹ cái đường gọi là gì rồi?
Cắt cút.
Nó là đường lớn. Ê, địt mẹ, cả cái Hải Phòng mỗi con đường này là địt mẹ mày đi một bước chân là có một nhà bán đồ chân ga gỗ điện với lại bán nội thất.
Nguyễn Đức Cảnh à? Tôi hiểu rồi.
Tôi hiểu, địt con mẹ, tôi hiểu. Ôi giời ơi, tìm nãy ở đấy. Em mà từ đầu tôi hiểu rẽ vào chỗ này này. Chỉ đéo kiếm được chỗ đấy thì anyway, đầu đấy nó có một quán net mà chị cầm mẹ trả ở đấy luôn. Nó mở 24/24.
Mẹ
Chỉ còn hai cái chỉ còn mấy cái thẻ ở đấy 200 đi, tại vì chị nghĩ chị sẽ quay lại á. Tôi hiểu. Nó đấy, đúng rồi, với mẹ ăn tên.
Solo bây giờ thành quán bán chặt luôn rồi.
Nó đóng cửa rồi á. Mẹ thẻ thành viên của tao 200.000 đấy, mày em ấy.
Tại vì ở đấy cũng có phốt mà bị ăn cắp xe thắt với cả với cả phốt gì ấy.
còn có hát các cô.
Tại vì trên 2 tầng là con nét rồi, 2 tầng trên ở luôn thế.
Ok, mở server nè mọi người. Chờ xíu để reset cái stream cái rồi.